Hello, I'm Sergeant Craig Miller with the Escondido Police Department.
And I'm Lieutenant Randy Soulard from the El Cajon PD.
We're here to provide you with some training on how to become a visual observer during drone missions for your law enforcement agency.
We're hoping that at the conclusion of this training, you'll have all the knowledge you need to be a member of a flight crew for your agency.
The information presented here is based on best practices developed in part through an unmanned aircraft systems working group comprised of most agencies in San Diego County. Nothing in this video should supersede your own agency's specific policies and procedures. Additionally, FAA rules and regulations, as well as local laws, may change over time as law enforcement agencies integrate unmanned aircraft systems into their daily operations. It is the responsibility of each agency to stay current on those rules and regulations. While the Federal Aviation Administration does not mandate the use of visual observers for all UAS operations, it is recommended that law enforcement agencies adopt a mandatory policy on visual observer participation during all flight operations for enhanced safety.
The visual observer's primary duty during a flight is ensuring safety. This includes monitoring the operational area for manned aircraft, other airborne hazards such as birds, loose balloons, kites, and even wind-blown trash, ground-level hazards, sudden changes in weather, and the health of the small unmanned aircraft itself. Visual observers must also ensure the safety of people on the ground, as FAA regulations generally prohibit flights over uninvolved persons. A visual observer may be called upon to help clear the operational area of uninvolved people, or determine that a flight must be terminated due to a potential danger to those on the ground.
The visual observer acts as a cover officer for the UAS pilot. The pilot's situational awareness is significantly compromised by the need to constantly monitor video displays and manipulate the flight controls. Think of this as the same tried and true contact and cover principle we practice every day. The visual observer is responsible for most or all radio communications on behalf of the pilot and other officers involved in the operation. Visual observers must be knowledgeable on terms associated with UAS operations and be able to accurately and quickly relay information coming from the pilot. A visual observer may also be tasked with radio communications with manned law enforcement aircraft who may be actively involved in your operations or conducting routine patrols in the vicinity.
Visual observers must be intimately familiar with case law regarding privacy. Existing case law dictates that unless exigent circumstances exist, such as a significant threat of death, great bodily injury, or significant property damage, small UAS may not be used to intrude into areas where there is a reasonable expectation of privacy without first obtaining a search warrant. Everyone involved in small UAS operations, including visual observers, must remain diligent to avoid invading the privacy of the public they serve.
Visual observers may be called upon to assist with pre- and post-flight inspections of unmanned aircraft systems, so they should be trained in the mechanics, flight software, video displays, and other equipment utilized in UAS operations. They may also be tasked with downloading, impounding, or sharing digital photos and video files at the termination of an operation. Refer to your individual agency policy on the handling of digital media evidence.
The following is a synopsis of Part 107 of the Federal Aviation Regulations, which dictates commercial and government use of small unmanned aircraft systems. Flights must not exceed 400 feet above ground level or 400 feet above any obstruction or structure. Flights must be conducted within line of sight of pilots and visual observers without the aid of magnifying devices such as binoculars. UAS must yield the right-of-way to any manned aircraft. Flights may not be conducted from moving vehicles except in remote areas that are sparsely populated. Flights must not be conducted over uninvolved individuals. Without a waiver, flights may not be conducted at night. Small UAS must be 55 pounds or less and not travel more than 100 miles per hour. Flights in certain areas of controlled airspace around airports and military installations are forbidden without prior approval from air traffic control. Visual observers should be familiar with the Low Altitude Authorization and Notification capability called LAANC and the variety of mobile apps that outline restricted flight areas. Some agencies operate under a Certificate of Authorization, or COA, from the FAA, which includes similar rules and regulations as Part 107, but may allow wider latitude for flights depending on individual agency authorizations. Refer to your agency's UAS supervision team for those particulars.
Visual observers play a vital role in the success of law enforcement's unmanned aircraft operations. By providing cover to the UAS pilot, watching for hazards, and handling communications, they provide an invaluable layer of safety to each and every mission.
thanks for your interest in serving as a visual observer for your agency's UAS operations. This emerging new technology is proving itself every day as a valuable law enforcement tool when it comes to the apprehension of criminals, locating lost persons, documenting crime and collision scenes, and providing overhead intelligence during warrant service and critical incidents. The ability to quickly deploy unmanned aircraft for overwatch enhances officer safety and increases the efficiency of police operations.